Well, we're at it again. We have another Gaylord full of boards. Boy, these look like really nice boards too. There's some high grade stuff, at least on the top of this. So we're all staged out around the bottom here. I'm probably going to run out of bins. I always do. Have to get creative near the end. But come on, let's dive in and start plucking away at it. First, a real quick safety note. When I was transporting this load from the scrapyard back to the shark cage, I had a net over top of it and I had the sides securely strapped down so nothing was coming out. I want to try this from a little different angle this time. Give you all a little closer view of these boards. So, for instance, we have this board. It obviously came out of some sort of telkom device. This side of the board is very heavily populated with large IC flat pack kind of things, gold fingers, tantalum capacitors. But over here we have junk power board stuff. So this is probably going to go as either a telkom low or a gold finger card. By one way or another, that bracket's coming off. And the answer is telkom low. This will be getting sold as a telkom low. These are wrapped together. Same one we saw before, and then there's this one with some sort of daughter card hanging on it. We have a few of these, which is nice. We had a load of these in a previous pickup as well. I'm looking to see if I come across something that's similar but very different. Similar but very different. Well, that makes a lot of sense. Sharky, you moron. Yeah. I'd love to know where these came from, because they're just such cool boards. Well, scrappers and recyclers, I'm really excited to let everybody know that we do have a Shark Scrapper membership now. So you can be a part of the Shiver. There's 3 levels. There's the Hammerhead, the Tiger, and the Great White Shark levels. And there are increasing perks as you go from the Hammerhead to the Tiger and the Tiger to the Great White Sharks. And there's really cool stuff like getting access to Geek Shark's Excel files, or having Geek Shark help you build your Excel files for your specific needs. There's submitting names for when we adopt a shark. There's voting on the names for when we adopt a shark. We will be doing maybe some early release or special videos. So there's going to be a lot of fun stuff that goes along with the membership. I want to say thank you to Roger at CU Scrapping. He has been the first person to sign up, and he signed up as a Great White Shark, so that's awesome. I look forward to having a lot more of you join the Shiver and doing what I can to make our experience together a lot more fun. I'll see you in the Shiver. Hey, we've seen these before. I don't know if you remember these, the video that I did on these. I actually did a couple of videos on these as we looked at the value of these boards, and the motherboard here and that board that I believe we turned out to be a telkom high or telkom low. Maybe, yeah, telkom low after we took it apart. So yeah, there's some more of those too. That's cool. You know, keep these separate. I think I'll try to anyway. There's a more classic looking telkom board. Nice IC flat packs all along here. We've got some real big chunky ones, socket mounted. We've got a little bit of junk. That's easy enough to pop that off. Of course, that needs to come off, and that needs to come off. And there'll be there's a copper grounding strip along there. And it's even got gold fingers. There's another nice one too. Boy, there's some nice boards in this load so far. Just for completeness sake, once that's cleaned up, that's going to be a Telkom low-grade board. There's another one of these wave verticals. This is going to be a nice payday for Biltmore. I love writing those guys nice big checks, because if I'm writing them nice big checks, that means somebody like Board Sort's going to get around to writing me a nice big check. Just in case you missed the short that I put out, when I was at Biltmore Iron and Metal picking up this load, I ran into one of my viewers. Eddie, he has a scrap pickup business here in the Hendersonville area. So here's that short where I met Eddie. Hey everybody, I'm here picking up a load of PCs and computer parts, and Eddie dropped in. He's one of my viewers. I love when I meet folks. Eddie, tell everybody what you do around here.
I do junk and scrap metal removal in Hendersonville, North Carolina. You ever had any needs for that type of service, I'd be glad to help.
That is awesome. So look up Eddie if you need any clean outs from your house, your trailer, your storage unit, or you know somebody that does. Eddie, it's great meeting you, man. I'm so glad you stopped by to say hi.
Good to meet you. Thank you.
Lots more of these wave verticals. I'm gonna need some bigger bins. Some more of these telkoms. Nice, sweet. Okay, now we're starting to see some low grades down near the bottom. So this top layer was all the good stuff, apparently. Now there's a really nice peripheral high-grade board, very nicely denselated, nicely densely populated. We've got gold Enig, we've got IC flat packs and ICs, we've got oscillators, gold-plated pins, and no junk on here. So real nice peripheral high-grade board there. That's either going to be a peripheral high-grade once I clean it up, get the heat sink and junk off of it. Yeah, this will be a peripheral high-grade once I get it cleaned up. Low grade. Yep. Now we're into the low grade stuff here. Now, of course, I'll take all that wire off of there, and I always look for what else might be on a low grade board that I can scavenge. So, you know, we've got a top hat oscillator, we've got an IC chip here. There's another IC chip. So there's always some stuff there that can be depopulated. That'll be another peripheral high grade once I get it cleaned up. And yeah, that'll be another peripheral high grade. I might bust off these just to clean it up a little bit. Yeah, another peripheral high-grade board here. You can see we've got BGAs and flat packs and ICs and MLCCs. That was some sort of cooling fan probably. Tantalum capacitors. So not much junk on there, so peripheral high-grade. I think this is a laptop board. It has that look to it, laptop boardish look to it. Peripheral needs to get cleaned up a little bit. So we might get peripheral high grade once we clean it up a little bit. Low grade power board. Probably came out of a PC power supply, I'm guessing. Another low grade. That is going to be either peripheral high grade or, depending upon what's underneath of there, no, that's not going to be integrated. Peripheral high grade. I was thinking that that might be the CPU, but it's not. That'll be peripheral high grade when I get it cleaned up. Peripheral high grade after I clean it up a little. Low grade. Low grade. Peripheral high grade after we clean it. How many times do I have to say after we clean it? I wonder. Yes, another power supply board. Another low grade. Huh, that's going to be a cool peripheral board. Look at that, it even has a gold cornered BGA. Hey, our first computer motherboard, i-series. You can tell from that bent arm. And here's some more motherboards. So i-series, another i-series. That right now is low grade, big huge knocking capacitors and power board kind of stuff, but I might swipe some components off of that. More low grade stuff here. When I picked this one up from the yard, they said, hey, how soon can you get back for the next one? So they have another one waiting for me already. This is going to be a small socket metal. You can tell it's got that straight candy cane arm. You can also tell because it has a gold cornered VGA, and that'll be a flip chip under there. So it's a little better quality than the i-series. Right now all the motherboards are going together in one bin because they need to get cleaned up, so there's no reason for me not to just put them all together. Low grade, peripheral, high grade when I clean it. I remember, cleaning isn't getting the dust and stuff. Cleaning is getting wire and big knocking metal chunks and heat sinks and that kind of stuff off of it. Huh, that's kind of a cool looking board. It was a telkom. It was. A lot of the chips and things are missing. So I got to figure out, maybe I'll just cut this and then I can put that in with the telcoms, and this I can pull these tantalums and go in the low grade maybe, or maybe peripheral low grade, because it's still got a lot of Enig and stuff on it. I'm gonna throw that in the peripheral bin for right now. Now, even though this is green, this is going to be a low grade power board. Some people might say mid grade because it's green on both sides, but as far as the value of it, it's just low grade. This, on the other hand, will be a peripheral high grade. There's gold on this that I can see, so that'll be fun to take the cap off and see what's underneath of that. Train's going by. Come on over here, you wave verticals. You'll recall from the video that I did on these that they take a little bit of time to get taken apart. There's a little bit frustrating, but there's good value there. How's it going?
How's it going?
Busy. Busy, busy. That'll be another peripheral. We're gonna, this is a heat sink board, it looks like. Huh, interesting. So these MOSFETs are on this, I don't know if that's an aluminum, it looks like it's a piece of aluminum, but also a board. Interesting, the way they did that. Oh, we have a mystery motherboard, but it's very easy to solve because right up there, there's an FM2B. So that tells me that goes in with the AMD I-series type boards. There's some low grade, and we've seen these a lot, haven't we? That bin is seriously overflowing all over the ground. All right, so low grade, peripheral. Come on, let go. Low grade, but I'll be taking off these and getting the copper off of those. Huh. Looks like this was from a radio. Yes. Yeah, so this was from an old radio. Those are the, you would dial for the channel there, dial. Low grade. Wow, look at that. Big old knocking heatsink and a low-grade board and a bunch of big old MOSFETs. Oh, just, that's going to be peripheral high grade. We have a loose RAM stick. That goes in this little bin down here. And here we have a motherboard of some type that I will have to open up and take a look at. But I'm guessing this is probably, I don't know. I'm not going to even hazard a guess until I take a look at the socket. Peripheral. Yeah, some sort of peripheral board here. Gold cornered BGA, Microsoft, Xbox. Oh, gee, I wonder what this came out of. And there's the front of a stereo system. Throw that in with the low grades. More low grade stuff here. More low grade stuff down in deep inside there. I-series, and that one's going to be a laptop. Oh, that's nice. A Ryzen. This board will go into the I-series AMD because this socket very clearly says AM4. Another motherboard. Low grade and low grade, and I'm going to throw that in the low grade for right now. More low grade. More low grade. Oh, that'll clean up to a nice peripheral. So will that. Yeah, another I-series motherboard. Yeah, it looks like we have some laptop boards here. You know, I don't mess around with taking laptops apart, but apparently somebody does. That's just a small metal socket. You can tell because it has the candy cane, or that's arm, the one that's not bent. That'll probably become a peripheral high grade when I'm done with it. Oh, now that's interesting. We haven't seen one of those. We had all kinds of wires going in here. We've got some nice chips on here. Unfortunately, it is lacquer coated. Now, I don't know if you can see that clearly enough, but it's got a lacquer coating all over everything, so that makes it a low grade board by definition. I-series, I-series, I-series. I-series, I-series. The motherboards are going along the side of the truck right there until I bring a bin over for them. There's another I-series. That'll probably be a peripheral high grade, probably. Not much on it. Okay, you know what that is, right? That's going to be a nice peripheral high grade. Low grade. Man, this thing's heavy. It's going in the low grades. You know, you'd think as frequently as I'm throwing stuff to the ground, you'd be a better shot. All right. We have another motherboard, AM4, so that'll be with the I-series AMD kind of boards. And that's going to be a small metal socket. Remember, if you're selling the board sort now, the color of the board doesn't matter. It's all about the socket. That says AM3, so that's going to be an I-series kind of AMD board. And that's another AM3, so that'll go in the I-series. That's a small metal socket. It's got straight candy cane. Low grade. Low grade. Ooh, small high grade stuff. Oh. Let's see here now. Motherboard. Low grade. Peripheral. Ooh, look at that. That's a nice peripheral high grade board. All those chips. Loose ram stick. And here's a riser card with gold fingers. That's a nice board. Gold finger, I mean a gold cornered BGA and a bunch of smaller chips. So a nice peripheral board. That'll go in the peripherals. I'll do some cleaning on it as well. Another nice peripheral board. It seems these last couple Gaylords of boards that I've gotten from these folks, they've had a lot of really good boards in them. You know, good quality stuff. That might be a laptop or an integrated motherboard. So I'm going to put this with the motherboards for right now. Otherwise, it'll just become a peripheral. Now, one of the things to keep in mind, if you're new, you may not have heard this before. When I'm with this particular buyer, because I'm doing the sort and stuff, I've already factored in a price reduction for the sort. But also, when this board is, you know, very clearly gets bought as a motherboard, right? This one gets bought as a motherboard, the small socket metal. I don't pay them extra for the CPU because I buy the material as I get it out of the Gaylord. So you saw me separate some RAM. So was some loose RAM, and I'll buy that as loose RAM. If there were loose CPUs and things, then I would pay them for the type of CPU. But in this case, it's just getting bought as a motherboard. Another peripheral high grade there. Because, you know, this takes me some time to sort through all of this, and it works well for their advantage to them because they're actually getting more because I take the time to sort it and pay them by the quality of the board. This looks like a P4, a small socket P4, and it is. So there's no AM FM on here. It's square, so that's a small socket P4. That's a pretty good quality board there. I'm going to put that in with the low grades. Another motherboard here. P4. Yep, P4. Low grade laptop board. This says AM2 right up here, so this will go with the I-series AMD boards. If you're feeling challenged in how to identify boards and stuff, I know I kind of go through this a little bit quick while we're here, but if you have stuff you're not sure of, it's real easy to bring me on board to help you out. All you need to do is join at any of the membership levels, the YouTube membership levels. Even if you join at the lower tier, which is the Hammerhead Sharks, you still get, as a part of your perks, access to me to help you identify your boards. So, you know, at the higher levels like Tiger and Great White Shark, you get even more things and more support and more perks. So that is the perfect way for you to get some assistance as you're identifying boards. The Hammerhead level is pretty inexpensive. I did that on purpose so that it wouldn't become a cost prohibitive thing for people. You get access to me to help you. All right, so this is going to be, this one's interesting because this actually gets bought from Board Sort as a large socket motherboard. It is not a P4. It does not have AM FM up here, making it an I-series. It's an older board. It's got some really good gold value. It has the same gold value as if it was a large socket motherboard, you know, where there would be a hole big enough for a quarter to fit in there. Well, I'm guessing this is going to end up being an I series. Just guessing, but we'll see when we get the heatsink off. Oops. Stuff falling out of the truck. I may have to take a break and get some bins organized here. That's a laptop motherboard hiding inside of there. I'm thinking that's a laptop motherboard. Might be an integrated motherboard. So when we get that heatsink off, if the chip is integrated onto the board, and it looks like it might be, then that would be an integrated motherboard. That is an interesting looking board. It has a SATA connector. It has all kinds of chips mounted on here and BGAs. No, that one's not loose. That's the way that was mounted. We have a whole bunch more on this side. So that could go as a telkom high-grade board because it's so densely populated with chips and things. It's a Indalinks. I don't know what that came from. What do you all think? Where do y'all think that came from? What kind of device? I suppose I could look up the part number. But yeah, if any of you know what that came from, let me know. That was probably a laptop board. And that's a small socket metal. I series. And what are you going to be? You're going to be a P4. P4, small socket, plastic. I really appreciate everybody that stuck around this long, but something tells me you don't want to spend another hour watching me sort boards. So there's links popping up here to take you to more Shark Scrapper content. The round thing in the middle, that's to help you to subscribe so you don't miss a single episode. And down in the description below, there's going to be a link to take you to the membership section where you can join at whatever level you see fit. I look forward to seeing all of you on the shiver.